Is it rolling, Bob? YouTube. YTPC. Can you hear that noise in the background? I'm out here in the middle of the woods. My neighbor, who's got 5 acres of woods, some kind of hunting camp over there, also in the woods. God knows why, but he's been running a leaf blower all afternoon. When I got here this morning, it was beautifully quiet. I mean, there's like no wind, crystal clear, no machinery, no dogs, nothing. Just quiet in the forest. I come all the way out here 2 hours from home and I have to listen to that. Oh well. Otherwise, it's been a near perfect day. Unbelievable weather for November 3rd. Not a cloud in the sky, bright sun. Temperatures in the 60s. Unseasonably warm, but I love it. No bugs. It's already been a couple of frosts. Came out here primarily to cut down a big beech tree to gather some bowl blanks so I can take it home and turn some more bowls on my lathe. I'm beat. Carrying those logs around and dealing with the chainsaw and everything. Getting too old for this, but I still love it. Smoking in my traditional woodsy Rogers Rarity, kind of square, unusual, cool rustification. In it I have Low Country Natural Virginia. Those low country blends have been piquing my imagination for a while now, and I finally pulled the trigger and I bought a couple ounces of Natural Virginia, a couple ounces of Virginia Burley. I haven't had good luck with Virginias up until now, but this one is good. I don't know what they mean exactly by natural, but I assume that means they don't have a lot of other stuff in there. Not that most of the kind of traditional blends do, but they market this one as being natural. I hope that means unadulterated with toppings and chemicals and whatever else they put in the tobaccos. I bought it in bulk, as I said, 2 ounces of each. This Virginia is surprisingly good. I've had a couple of bowls, I think maybe 4 or 5 bowls so far. And right from the beginning, it's been good. My 4-point rating, I would put it somewhere between nice and very nice. And that's without any age. So obviously I'm going to jar up most of it. Let it sit around and see what happens. I tried the Burley Virginia blend, also natural, and it was okay, but it tasted a little raw, like maybe it needs some age, so I've got that jarred up as well. You know, I smoke fairly infrequently, maybe once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times a week on a good day, a good week. In the wintertime it gets tougher because I have to smoke outside, and if it gets too cold, I don't enjoy sitting still for half an hour or whatever it takes to smoke a bowl, so I don't do it very often. Last couple of weeks I've had great weather, so I've been smoking quite a bit. Up here in north central Massachusetts again in the woodlot. Been having a heck of a week. Yesterday my wife and I went downtown Boston and did some sightseeing and caught a movie at the aquarium. I walked over to L.J. Peretti, the second oldest tobacco shop in the country, I believe. First time there, even though I live half an hour away on a commuter rail. I'm trying to get down here for about 2 years, but just, life gets in the way. But yesterday was another great day, and we decided to go into town. I picked up a couple of their blends, and I'll hope to talk about those in the future, the near future. A little gurgling going on here, which is a little unusual. This burns very well. One match so far. Tamped it down a little bit and it's been burning well. Up here in New England, it's apple season. Apple season is over, really. They stopped picking at most of the orchards last week. But got myself a nice apple here. I'm going to have this for dessert. I think on the way up here we drove past the hometown of Johnny Appleseed. So this is kind of where it all began. Of course, back in those days, he was planting trees on farms and whatnot, homesteads, probably nearly 200 years ago now. Well over 100 anyway, 150 or more. Anyway, he wasn't planting the apple trees for eating off the tree the way we do nowadays. It was for cider. Not the cider we think of for the most part, but rather hard cider. With all the genetics and stuff that's been going on, the breeding over the years, I suspect those apples are kind of gnarly, not really good for eating, but good for making cider. And in those days there was not too many pleasures in the world, so a little hard cider at the end of a hard day out on the farm or whatever, a little hard cider probably tasted pretty good. So, still going. I'm almost finished reading a book called What We Owe the Future. By William McAllister, McSomething. I should have checked that before I started talking about it. He's, I believe, a Scottish scholar, a philosopher. He's talking about long-termism. He's not talking about the future as we normally think about it. I've got 2 grown kids and two very young grandchildren, so obviously I think about the future that seems like far away from me, wondering what the world will be like when my 2 grandchildren, both under 2 years old, will grow up, what the world will be like for them. entirely sanguine about that. But this book takes a much broader view, both in terms of globally and over time. You know, he's talking about the whole world and all the people in it, all 7-8 billion people, humanity as a whole. And when he thinks about the future, he's talking about scores, if not hundreds of generations. And it considers the possibility not only what the world will be like, but what the universe will be like if people start to populate other galaxies. He's thinking about what could happen to the human race over that time span and all the events that would lead up to that if we make it that far. And I think that's really what the story is about, is what are we doing now to ensure that people will exist in the distant future? Are we screwing things up so badly now that the human species will disappear? Or if we don't disappear, what could existence for humans be like in the distant future? Could it be hell on earth? Hell in the universe? Or could we strive to make it the best possible life for us and for all the other creatures on the planet? It's kind of mind-blowing in a way to try to think that far out. I know right now things aren't really great. We're screwing up the climate in a big way. And there's vast inequality in the world right now. I'm a man of comfortable but modest means in the United States. But when you consider all the billions of people in the world, I'm probably in the top 1% or even higher. You know, you think of all those people living in destitute. There's a bird. Looks like a downy woodpecker up there. Not a lot of birds around today, but a few. Anyway, yeah. So you know, we need to think about these things. What are we doing here in the rich countries to make life better for everybody on the planet? Not easy to think about sometimes. We struggle from day to day. There's another little bird. I think that could be a kinglet, maybe. Tiny little thing up in the hemlock. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been reading and thinking about lately. You know, what can we do now, especially those of us in rich places, wealthy countries, comfortable countries, to ensure that life is better for all humans in the near future and beyond. Easy to think about and talk about when I'm sitting here enjoying a beautiful day, beautiful weather, good food, good pipe. Technology. Technology is a big consideration. With artificial intelligence on the horizon, machine learning, can technology be used to make life better for everybody? Or can the technology eventually, a la science fiction, take over the world and enslave us or destroy us or something crazy like that? And then medical science, bioscience. What will that do to people in the future? Will we attain singularity where we become one with the machines and live indefinitely? Will we be able to upload our consciousness to a computer and essentially live individually forever? That's kind of mind-blowing. I'm not sure I'd want to do that, but who knows? And how much inequality in the world will these new technologies bestow upon us? That's what a pipe is for, thinking about this stuff. But I think that's probably enough for now. God knows my battery's probably dead already, but we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. Enjoy your smokes.